All right, what is up, guys? Damn, I don't even remember what day we're on. I don't know if it's 174 of the bulk. Whatever. We're in the 70s, 170s in the bulk. And today we're gonna do some arms. So last time I did arms, I noticed that my arms respond much more better with more frequency. So we'll just drop a little bit of the weight compared to last time. And that way we can fulfill a lot of the squeezes and get those actual flexions on. That way we can get our biceps to be bigger, our triceps to be bigger, and our delts to be bigger as well. Obviously, doing it the way how I'm doing it, I'm going to get a bigger pump, and I tend to base my workouts a lot on the pump. Now, the difference is that sometimes I'm not I think there's a misconception with the pump that people are trying to do more exercises to accumulate more blood in the muscle than rather actually breaking. I'm not doing that though, because I'm going to failure, and I'm not doing lightweight, I'm doing moderate weight. Again, you have to fixate a bit the workouts based on the muscle type, on its size, whether it's big. I mean, you can't compare a bicep compared to a quadricep or a lat because they're completely different in sizes. And also, I think it's based on body types. You know, if your arms seem to respond better to more frequency with intensity, sometimes you can get a more centered intensity, which is what I like to call it. It means that the intensity that you're doing in that workout, when you go to failure, you're able to provide a bit more intensity for the overall muscle. And that could lead to more muscle breakage. And muscle breakage in terms of fiber. So you just see, you know, and yeah, that's what we'll be doing. For my delts, you know, I don't feel like I have to change much, because I do think my delts have gotten bigger for these past few months, and I don't feel a need to change it until I start to see something different going on with my muscle size or shape. Then I can reevaluate whether I should add a few things or remove a few things. Biceps is the same thing. My bicep growth has just very slightly decreased. Growth in terms of growth rate. I'm not talking about that my biceps gotten smaller, but in the growth rate, my biceps have gotten slower to grow since this past month. But I do think the reason for that was because we were adopting a little bit of a heavier weight to the arms, contrary to a bit more frequency. For my chest, type, it still requires more reevaluation, and I am trying to find the root problem to it. I still don't have a complete solution. I do need to think about it much more. But as of today, we're doing arms, so I don't. That's not my entire concern for right now. When I get closer to the chest day, then yeah, we'll get to it. We're pretty close to the gym. We'll start off with delts. All right. Well, I've got my phone charger just connected to my microphone. So we're gonna have to just do it with the phone's microphone.
would say that I've known from the next is you don't want to drop the thing, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but what I mean is it's very obvious thing. If you're grabbing a barbell that's way too heavy and it drops to your straps way too quickly, and you can't control it, how are you going to expect to do more than 10 reps or something like that? So it's a very controlled movement. Just push, and it's a movement where you have to activate a lot of your overall health. That's where you should be. Nowhere else. I don't even know how many you did there. Happens every single time. I base my reps so much on the feeling. I just go as much as because I've always been used to since I don't have a lot of time doing a lot of this, that I first started basing my reps based on failure. So I don't like swimming like a dumbass, but just feeling the muscle contract reflex. I'd rather do the 70. Just to keep it more consistent. If I was doing it with a Smith machine, that'd be a different story. But, we got here. One of the reasons why I just don't, I don't up the ante with so much weight because I feel like if I do that, I'd be engaging a bit of the back, which doesn't kind of defeats the purpose. It is a pressing movement, but I feel like the majority of it when you connect more to the delts, pushing upward in a rhythmic movement, it's engaged more than rather just for the sake of pushing. We'll continue with the set. So, I mean, whenever I'm keeping my elbows sort of in the still position, which is coming down, there's more engagement going on there, especially in the last round. That's why with the heavy weights, it doesn't make sense to me. Alright, let's do hammers. I'm in a very small space right here. But I like to, I don't know, it's something visual where when I'm doing the hammer raises, I get to see it just getting a bit bigger. So I like push more. I get to see, sometimes there's movements where I feel it better than maybe the two previous ones, and I just stick with that. to imagine, especially on delts, that like, if you're doing any delt exercise, but especially with these where you're handling dumbbells, I like to picture myself like I'm putting clay. Each time it gets harder, it's like putting more and more clay. I feel like if you think about it that way, you push for more intensity. I ever shut up when I do these. I just love them so much because when I do the first ones, it's like you kind of break the fibers, and then once you move to the superset piece, it's like it pumps more blood. So you're breaking and putting blood, and breaking and putting blood. It's a great combo, especially for a superset. do it there. And I'll just speak to you guys. The mirror helps. Yeah. I think the next time with your arms, I'll just think. One thing before we get to benches, I think because I've been doing hard labor, I think my cortisol levels have risen, which is why, I don't know if it's me, but I think that affects too, visually. I'm not super, let's say, as defined as I usually am, but that could be the cortisol. So mentally when I work, I gotta be a bit way more positive in order for that shit to imagine just some bullshit. I'm trying to go all out, but my cortisol's just like, no.
Wes is gonna give you more help on that last rep. So you're gonna do it by yourself.
go to Species. Yeah. And finish up the triceps. I always come here too late, man. I need to come here maybe like 15 minutes before they close down, but yeah, let's go. Let's continue. So for the sake of no staff bitching on what I'm doing without having a tripod, because the front desk is in the front. Sound like such an asshole. Okay, let's do kickbacks. We'll do them with. Just don't really need that much heavy load. This has now happened like twice in a row where I've gotten too late to the other gym at EOS. It's 11 p.m. and I went to Species that time. and I just went there just to do well, the entire tricep workout. We did the skull crushers, then kickbacks, which is this, and we did the tricep pull downs. Now I'm just doing it for 2 workouts. Anytime I go there, I need to go there way earlier. I don't have to do that bullshit. I had to drive here for like 27 minutes. I would go to Species, but Species just plays loud ass music, man. These feel right on point too, because since I've allowed really my entire body to rest for like almost 30 minutes, which was about the drive, the pump is obviously not the same, but we've allowed like a long recovery, so I'm just able to go through it more. Ideally, that's not what I should do, but this is once in the this is a one-time thing. You know, ideally you do want to obviously keep on going to keep the pump on. You don't want to stop. That's why I don't like to really go to so much crowded gyms, because it wastes your time. You need to keep your pump going.
I definitely could have gone more there. On the this last one, we'll do more intensity. I feel too that it's always with these that they're pretty similar to tricep pull downs, where that flexing is just when you come down like that, you have that contraction. When you keep it in midair, especially doing these, I feel like you can isolate it a bit more with your tricep, especially overall. It's not like the mid head. You work your overall tricep doing those. Same with tricep pull downs. I actually counted that time. Very rare. Like 20. I tend to always go based on feeling of what I said earlier. I'm going to failure, and it's always been hard to track those rep amounts. But anyways, we'll do some tricep pull downs. I think I might do it outside, just because I don't really want to go there. There's too many people. All right. You know what? Let me put you guys here so you guys can see the weight. Okay. Let's do these with the, let me do it with this. After we're done with that side of grab, I'm gonna get the right handle for this for now, so we don't lose much of the pump that we have. Oh wait, there's one right there. Let me see. Yeah, this is better. Let's start off with a 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 60. Yeah. This could be a bit different from the usuals that I do, because I never really do them on this cable crossover thing. I don't know what this is called. Yeah, because my max is 72.5. So I figured the way how I'm increasing this, since each is a each is a 5, I'd get to 75, but that 60 was kind of pushing it. Put a 65. We'll see how it goes. Stability is a big thing with these two. I was wearing those shoes, but those shoes are slippery. It's good to keep a firm stance coming down, get that flex. That was too much. I'll do a 55 and then I'll come down to get to 65, but a controlled way. You know, I do like to put this pretty low because at the end of the day, it's not like you're raising your arms all the way here. You might as well allow this to be higher, and it just makes the process a bit more effective, in my opinion, because you don't have to deal with the hassle of it coming upward. I just think that if that makes it easier, you have a bit more stability, so you can hit that tricep with more intensity. Not sure how many I did there. I need to count more. I was with a 60. Yeah, let me just breathe a little. We'll get to 65 and get those reps in. These are a little different than a casual tricep pull down machine. Doing it with less weight, it's a bit, that sometimes, I don't know why that happens when you, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times I could do a tricep pull down on one machine and I do like 72 pounds. I come over to a machine like this and it's even doing it 65 is almost the same way as hard. But I think it's because the way this angle goes, it does feel like it's lifting me. We'll do one more. This is the last one, so we can really squeeze out those reps. Nope. All right. Oh, this was a pretty good arm day. My only critique from this session is when we did the delts. The next time I do them, I'll do them to looking at a mirror, because for me, sometimes it's psychological that when I'm doing, these hammer raises, and I superset them with the sides, when I look at myself in the mirror
and I see how my delt's getting a bit bigger and locked in from doing it in a certain way, I start to just keep going. And I really feel that getting bigger and bigger. And these little things are important in my opinion. Because I remember it happened to me 2 times where I was training and I looked at myself in the mirror and I was doing them and I had like the best delt workout. So delts, biceps was good. Yeah, when we did those incline dumbbell curls, those were good. Spider curls were good. The hammer superset concentration it wasn't great, but it was good. It was all right. And for these triceps, same thing. Not the best, but good enough. But something that's good enough isn't great enough, so we gotta get better at them. All right, let's do one final pose down, even though I did two workouts from coming here, since we had to drive, so the pump isn't the same. But I already recorded myself. Let's just pose down. Jesus, this wall looks filthy, man. Feels like I'm taking like you know those prison shots that So this is 30 minutes after pump, even though we did 2 workouts with the triceps. But yeah, let's see. So let's do. Even though I did no back today, but I like to see how the lats are even after several days from doing any sort of back workouts. All right. Not bad. So, what day is it today? I think it's July 15. By the time you guys are watching this, it's gonna be way later in the future. But I have a month left until this peak of bulk, and then we'll start cutting. I'm not really sure when I will end the cut, because that's the first, this is gonna be the first cut I've ever done. And this was the first bulk I've ever done too. But I'm willing to say that since I did start the bulking phase around January 20th, I think I will cut down until January 20th. So August 20th till January 20th, that's September, October, November, December, 5 months. 5 months of cutting. I'm honestly pretty scared of the cut because it's hard for me to get fat, man. I'm almost at 4,000 calories and it's just like my body's like, no. So yeah, I have to, that's been like my main challenge. I've definitely gained size, like that's for sure, through muscles, but weight has been plateaued. Muscle size, not really, but weight, yeah, and that kind of bothers me, because I would like that my muscle size gets bigger along with my weight. More of a standard sort of thing. I'm not sure what my body fat is, but soon enough I will do a DEXA scan to get that a bit more accurate. Once the cut happens, I'll do that again, And yeah, I really have to research more because I'm not exactly sure what sort of percentage body fat I will get into, but I could be aiming around 10%. And I can't even fathom how I'll look like at 10% body fat. Yeah, that's gonna be scary. I'm gonna be so shredded, Jesus. I've never gone to those body fats. I've always been like athletic because I've done sports like gymnastics and all that stuff, but I've never been in a deficit because I've never dieted in my life. The first time I've done a diet, like this is actually my first diet, the bulking diet, which is kind of ironic because I'm trying to gain weight for more muscle mass instead of the usual thing where people diet down to lose body fat in order to reveal abs and that sort of stuff. Speaking of abs, I need to start incorporating that now that the cut is cutting closer. I did used to do that when I was, like a few months ago, I used to do abs every 2 days. I need to do that more because that way when we get to the cut, as we reduce the body fat, the cardio starts to go up gradually. So let's say that we're at 4,200 calories. Then a week or two, if I'm eating 2 cups rice, 2 cups bean, drop half a cup, right? And then once you drop half a cup, start to increase the cardio. Once I'm in there increasing cardio, I think I'll increase the workouts for abs. Yeah. And abs is interesting for me because, as I said, I've done gymnastics before, and in gymnastics, I remember we used to do so many ab workouts. So I'll definitely be incorporating a lot of stuff that I learned from the past, use that knowledge to my benefit. Get those lower abs, I guess higher, I don't know. The obliques. I think obliques won't be an issue. I have them. That's the thing about me, which is why I struggle with weight. If I start eating at my maintenance, I'm a flat stomach. Yeah, so that's why I'm very scared of cutting down, because I'm gonna be cut to the bone. So I'm actually fascinated how my mass will result from the cut. I'll cut smartly though. Inevitably, you are trying to fight down a bit of the crash and deficit, but as long as you gradually decline it, I think you should be fine. All right, that's enough chit chat. Let's get to the car, and I'm gonna eat. It's already 12, so I need to figure out what.
All right, not bad. Okay, so one thing that I noticed, not even today, but the last time I did arms, is that my arms work way more when I add frequency. And so I am laying down a bit of the heavier weights when I'm doing arms, because I just noticed that I don't get so much activation compared to when I focus more on the frequency when I do arms, meaning the complete rep to get to failure even more, instead of doing 12 reps to 15 reps and trying to lift weight to for me supposedly to do failure, which can happen, but for me I reach failure adequately on each rep much more effectively doing more reps and dropping a little bit the weight. That goes for delts, biceps, and triceps. So that's pretty much the consensus of my arm days that I'm gonna do. That's kind of the thing you have to do. I feel like I have to track and learn really what I'm doing in the workout, because if you don't, you're not gonna really know whether your growth rate is increasing or decreasing. And if you don't do that, then I mean, what's the point? Because at the end of the day, every single person will reach a barrier. They'll plateau. But sometimes they think that they're not doing enough, right? That could be the case, but it's often not. It's often have to do that your body just simply adapted to the workout you're doing, and maybe you have to think a different approach coming in. Now, you don't have to completely change the workout, but maybe you have to add a bit of variations, focus more of the quality of the rep than rather the weight. That's a common reason. Or 3, you could add in a different workout for. No, I'm not talking about the entire workout, but add 1 workout out of 8 workouts in that day, depending on the muscle you're doing, the muscle that you're doing. But it really doesn't matter because each muscle is the same whether you drop or don't. Just drop a little one and add another and see how that feels. But most likely than not, it does have to do with the variation that you could be doing in that workout. And I would say really focus in the workout, like get those contractions, when I say contractions, I mean flexing. Flex. All right, I'm going to talk about it. Yeah. And you know what? Talking more about my diet, I have noticed, because I'm not going to be, like, I'm going to be honest, I'm getting a bit tired of, because here's the thing, in my lunch, I eat rice, beans, tofu, and avocado, and I've been doing that since January. And for some reason now, I've gotten pretty tired of eating that. I'd say mostly at nights, like right now. When I come back in the house and I eat the same thing what I did for my lunch, it gets pretty tiring after a while. And so I'm constructing right now a meal plan where I can sometimes have days where if I want to switch, I'll alternate my dinners. Because for me, I noticed that my body, I eat like much more. I've always been a person that eats a lot in the morning, like at breakfast. And then when I eat lunch, I don't eat so much, but I eat enough, right? Dinner, I don't eat so much. Yeah, I've never really ate that much in dinner. So that's where you have to adjust it based on your eating habits. I've noticed that because I'm going to increase my calories for this bulk to 4,200, I figured I could eat probably a much macro dense meal in the morning, and then at lunch it's kind of like an order. So breakfast would be the highest, then when it gets to the lunch, that's like the middle, right? Breakfast could be, let's say, almost 1,400 calories, like something like that. Then in lunch, it would be 1,100. And then for dinner, it would be, let's say, another 1,100. Same thing as lunch, or maybe 1,000. So you already have there about 3,500-ish. But between these, I would have snacks or maybe a mini meal. And that could come up to be about 4,200 calories. So there's a space there of 700 calories, which is that gap between lunch, breakfast, and dinner. And so that's my plan. Yeah. I think that is important for you to know. Although I feel like when it comes to dieting takes a bit longer to understand, because I feel like food could be pretty emotional at first. In terms of, let's say, like what I just said, I got tired of it. What I just said, I got tired of it. I don't get tired of doing almost the same arm workout or stuff like that. My body just adapts, so I change. But if that wasn't the case and I was growing more and more, doing the same arm workout or the same leg workout, why would I change it? You know, why would I change it? That's kind of like basic common sense. But when it comes to food, no, you get tired of it. So when you do get tired of it, that's a sign like, okay, that's fine, right? That's normal. You're a human being. You're gonna get tired of it. Let's just change the meal into patterns that I notice myself, my eating habits, where I like to eat more, and where can I recognize that I don't like to eat that much. And then from there, you can really organize what meals should contain the most macro based on the times that you eat, and which should contain less. That way you can actually hit your macro targets. Because that's the thing, guys, I feel like if you're going to bulk to a point where you know that you can actually eat all that. I'm not implying that you should bulk and not eat big, right? Of course, you got to eat big. But what I mean is you have to be also realistic in terms of, if you're going to hit a bulk, you must hit those macro targets. And you need to do anything it takes to hit them, right? Whether that's spreading your meals, whether that's dropping one thing in one meal from the morning and then adding that on later at lunch. Like, these sort of things will keep you on top, because if you don't, you're not going to get to your physique goal. And that's the thing when it comes to bodybuilding has to do with working out, but it equally has to do with how you eat. And if you're bulking, you need to make sure that you're eating a lot of calories, really good sources of protein, a lot of carbs, and a lot of fats, right? Mostly, obviously, you're going to have more protein and carbs compared to fats. Yeah, but the main goal there is those calories. You really need to make sure that you're getting those calories in, or else, like, there's not much point of bulking. You get big, right? But you're not going to really understand why your body is fluctuating the way how it is when you don't track. And that requires discipline. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. It is hard for me. As I said before, it's harder for me to track because of my schedule. But that's where I'm trying to adapt right now, based on my eating habits, where I can actually realistically eat more, and where I realistically understand where I don't eat as much, because my body just doesn't want to. It doesn't. I can't. It feels like such a big chore. Okay. After you do this for a while, 2 years, it's a regular thing. You know, you understand that eating becomes more of a normal thing, like brushing your teeth, like eating to those amounts. And so when you're competing in a big stages, like you want to become an IFBB pro and maybe get to the Olympias, you know, you're going to have to put in time to eat no matter what you're doing. Probably like the common thing, every 2 hours, every 3 hours. I was thinking at first to do that, but I could find, there's another way to do it a bit more simpler. So yeah, that's the plan, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to eat a bit right now, go to my house and sleep. I really need to sleep. But yeah, not such a bad day. Each day that comes by, I try to really learn and understand my overview of the workout, how I felt. That way I could have a solid work base the next time I come in to notice these weak points. It's when it comes to bodybuilding, it is important to be self-aware of your body. Self-aware, but not comparing yourself to other people. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people, because people have different genetics, you know, and people have been working out at different times compared to you. So it doesn't make sense, you know. When you're competing, it's for the show, it's for the ego, right? And it's to see who's worked out the hardest and stuff like that. But I'm not, you know, I will say that a lot of it has to do with genetics. And I'm not implying that these people that have won Mr. Olympias have not like absolutely bust their ass. No, exactly the opposite. They're the hardest working bodybuilders you can find in the game. The thing is that they maxed what people think is talent, right? They've mixed their genetics with their hard work ethics, And that's why they're Miss Olympia. That's why they have the results that they have. But despite that, even if you don't have the greatest genetics, if you're very smart in the way that you work out, oh, you will look way better than so many pros. And hell, if you really like, if this is your passion and this is what you will die for, if you really work out smart, you could definitely beat the best guy in the game. Because it all comes down to how effectively you're working out. Genetics is just a quick start to get you going, right? Many people can have a really great genetics and do a basic workout for a while, and they'll get big and they'll get defined. And that's great for them, right? That's awesome. Some people know, and that's completely normal, right? That's completely normal. The thing that you have to understand is that your body will, you don't know your body's potential until you really push it. Once you push it, you can start to see those gains. And when you push it during the first times, you'll learn how to push it even more, right? And even more effectively. And that's the goal. All right, I'll leave it to that. Hope you guys have a good day. I'll see you next time. Peace.